Hi friends, welcome to this new video. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit off, but I'm fighting a seasonal cold at the moment. I'm totally fine, I'm on the mend, I'm just still a little bit congested. So that's why I sound a little bit weird, I'm sorry for that. But my seed order for 2024 has just been delivered, so I really wanted to share with you what seeds and what vegetables I'm gonna be growing on my part shade balcony this year. So if you also have a balcony or a garden that doesn't receive a lot of sunlight, hopefully you'll find some ideas and some inspiration in this video. So I have some new seeds and I have some older seeds that I want to go through really quickly to see what I have. But generally I don't have a lot of seeds and I don't buy a lot of seeds because, you know, there's only as much as I can fit in 17-meter square balcony garden. And at this point my garden is pretty full because I prioritized, you know, trees and shrubs and herbaceous perennials and evergreens, these plants that create the structure of my garden. And then I have like maybe 15 seasonal planters, without counting those on the railing, maybe 15 seasonal planters on the floor that I can use as, you know, to experiment, to try new things each year, to plant some new seasonal flowers. So it is in these pots that I'm going to be planting all of these seeds. So that means I will plant maybe 1 or 2 containers of each plant, but I think it's still worth it because you know, growing plants from seeds is way cheaper than buying mature plants at the garden center, and then obviously greater range of plants is available to grow from seeds. You can get your hands on some really unique, really fun varieties that wouldn't necessarily be available at your local garden center. So I still think it's worth it. So let me show you all of these seeds, all of these new seeds that I just bought. I actually haven't even looked into this envelope. I just opened it. It was delivered today. So maybe I should mention where I order my seeds from, because if you live in Europe that could be relevant and maybe helpful. So I usually order my seeds from 3 places, and my number one place to order seeds is where all of these seeds came from, is Clan Bomo, which is a French website, but I think they ship to other European countries as well. I'm not sure, but I think so. I buy my vegetable seeds here, my flower seeds here. They have a really nice choice of everything. Then the second page is Ten which is a Dutch website. I usually buy my Biennial seeds here. And then the third one that I sometimes order from is gardenseedsmarket.com. So these are the 3 websites I would recommend. So let's start with all of these. I can see right at the start that they gave me some packet of seeds for free. They always give you a packet or 2 of seeds with each order. That's really kind of them. But usually these are the seeds that I cannot grow on my balcony because they require full sun. So we have Cosmos Versailles mixed. So I will probably be giving this to my grandmother. I often give her my seeds. You know, I just need a little amount of them, small amount of seeds, and then the rest I usually give to my grandmother. So Cosmos, I tried growing Cosmos on my partial shade balcony. I tried it 2 times, and well, it grows, it blooms, but, well, how to say it? I mean, it won't grow as large as it would in the full sun, and it won't produce as much as it would in the full sun. The flowers are smaller, the bloom stalks are smaller, so it is cute, but is it something that you will prioritize in partial shade? Probably not. I think it's better to buy plants that will actually thrive in the partial shade rather than forcing full sun-loving plants to grow in the shade. That's my opinion, but I think that if you have 4 or 5 hours of sunlight, you can give it a try and, you know, see for yourself if that works for you or not. But you know what's interesting? Oftentimes when I go to some garden centers, I check the seed section, and oftentimes I look at it and there's like full sun, full sun, full sun, full sun, full sun this, full sun that. You get the impression that nothing ever grows in the shade, or nothing is ever suitable for shade or part shade. And that's funny because there's a lot of plants that are tagged as full sun, but they actually do really well in partial shade. And one of those plants is nasturtium. Nasturtium is often tagged as full sun, but it actually does really well in partial shade. I've grown nasturtiums in the past. I absolutely love them, enjoy them very much, and there are so many uses for nasturtiums. So this year I picked 2 varieties. One is called Salmon Gleam, the other one is called Cream Troika. And Cream Troika is a large creamy yellow variety with brown markings, and Salmon Gleam, as the name indicates, is kind of salmon, but a really soft peachy color. And you can use nasturtiums in many ways. You can grow them as host plants. So, you know, when you have your vegetable garden, you can plant nasturtiums in your vegetable garden because they attract pests. So the pests will stay away from your actual food crops and they will be attracted by nasturtiums. Then you can grow them as cut flowers. They have a really long vase life. They look beautiful in bouquets. And if you are into the whole edible flower things, which I definitely am, these are edible and they actually taste really good because, you know, there are some flowers that are edible but they taste like crap, sorry, but that's true, where nasturtiums are actually really tasty. You can add them to your salads, you can add them on top of your sandwiches. That looks really nice. So definitely excited to grow these. Next we have a Coleus Giant Exhibition Mix, and Coleus is one of those plants that I always encourage people to grow from seeds because they can get kind of pricey at the garden center, and when you buy a packet of seeds you pay 4 or 5 euros and you can get 100 plants because there's 100 seeds in it. And they have a pretty good germination rate usually. So I always say to people, sow the whole packet of seeds, because if you sow just like maybe 5-10 seeds, you may end up with 5-10 the same plants, but if you sow 100 seeds, you see all of the possibilities, like all colors that you can possibly end up with from that one seed packet, and then you can pick only the ones that you like the most because they come in such a range of colors and color combinations. It's such a beautiful plant. If you have a shade garden and you feel like it lacks color, definitely give a try to Coleuses. They are really easy to grow from seeds. You can grow them in the shade, in partial shade. Those that have darker, more thicker leaves, they grow also really well in full sun. And they can also be grown as houseplants year-round. I'm actually training some into topiaries. I'm not sure if you can see behind me. So really beautiful plant, really easy to grow. Next we have snapdragons. Snapdragons grow really well in partial shade as well. I actually grow some as perennials because they are hardly down to zone 7, so they can take some frost. I have not tried growing them from seeds. I always grow them just by plants and grow them like that. But I really want to give a try to seeds, and I have two beautiful varieties. One is called Lucky Lips, which is a tall snapdragon variety, and the flowers really look like lips. They are like two-tone, pinkish with darker pink, almost red tinge, and they really look like lips. That's a really beautiful snapdragon. And then I have a one that I'm really excited about. I've never seen a snapdragon like this in my life. It's called Kimozi Apple Blossom. And what is so special about it, it grows only 15 centimeters tall. 15. That's pretty amazing. That's a really short snapdragon. So these will be perfect for like windowsills or for really small pots. I'm really excited to give it a try because, as I said, I've never seen a snapdragon as short as this. Next I have sweet peas, and I have grown peas and sweet peas before, but I don't like how messy they get because they are quite tall. They can grow up to 2 meters tall, so you need quite a lot of space for them, and you need to, you know, provide them with some trellis or with something like this, something that they can climb on. So I was searching for some shorter varieties and found, just randomly, found this one. It's called Super Snoop Mix, and they grow only 30 centimeters tall. So it's a really beautiful mix of like pinkish, like hot pink colors, and as I said, they only grow 30 centimeters tall. So here again, they will be perfect for windowsills, for small pots. There's enough stem to cut them as cut flowers, but they are really short, so don't need staking or anything like that. So really interesting variety. So these are all of my flowers. So now let's move into vegetables, because I do grow some vegetables in partial shade. I don't really talk much about it, but I think I want to talk a little bit more about it because, you know, there's plenty of gardeners who grow vegetables, but they all have a full sun exposure. But for example, me, I only have a shade to work with, so I can't grow tomatoes or peppers or cucumbers or you know, eggplants and stuff like that. I can only grow those plants that actually do grow in the shade. So I think I will share a little bit more about that this year. So for this spring season mostly, I bought some radish. I have 3 radish varieties, and the thing about radish is that it does grow really well in partial shade, but it will take way more time to ripen. I remember doing an experiment with that 18 days radish, you know, that radish that from seed to harvest, it grows in 18 days. I remember sowing it on my balcony and it took 2 months to ripen. So they will definitely take more time, but they will grow into healthy and very tasty vegetables. Generally all root crops do really well in the shade. And radish is my favorite because, you know, there are so many different beautiful radishes. You can really have a lot of fun growing radish, because if you pick different colors, I remember one year I took the smallest wicker basket that I could find on my balcony, and I planted five different radishes inside of it. And that was really fun, because then you have this small basket, but you have all of those colorful radishes growing in it. So this is just also a really good proof that you don't need a lot of space to grow anything, whether that be flowers or vegetables. So I have radish French breakfast, just a classic, quite spicy variety. And then I have two rounded purple radishes. These are less spicy, they're really tasty. It's called Bacchus, I think that's how you pronounce it. And I'm sure that here I already can see I have some different colorful ones like Malaga and some other yellow varieties that the name is not indicated on the package. But yeah, you can have a lot of fun growing different colors of radish. Definitely recommend that for partial shade. And then obviously all kinds of leafy greens. I really love arugula, but you can also grow spinach, and you can sow it you know, repeatedly every 2-3 weeks to have a continuous harvest. I love to do it with arugula. I'm not a huge fan of spinach, I prefer arugula. And then all kinds of lettuce, they grow really well in the shade and in partial shade. So for this year, one of my favorites is devil's ears. I grow it every single year, but this year I wanted to try something different, so I have Batavia rosea. So this is my seed haul for this year. As I said, I have some more seeds in here. I'm actually not sure what I have in here. One thing to keep in mind when keeping seeds from year to year is that, you know, seeds, they have viability, and that viability decreases over time. So there are online charts that you can check, you know, for each seed what's the viability and how long you can keep them, because after a certain time that viability decreases, so you will have lower germination rate. That seed may still germinate for you after 10 years, but you know, the germination rate will be really low, so it's not worth keeping seeds more than 5 years. But that really depends, because some seeds lose viability already after 1 or 2 years. Some can be stored for 5 years, 6 years, but usually after that 5 years mark, it's not worth keeping seeds. So it's a good idea when you buy your seeds to write the date when you bought it, and check online what's the viability for these seeds, and check when they expire, so that you know how long you can store them. So let's see what we have in here. More nasturtiums. I have another one. This one is really beautiful, ladybird cream. Beautiful, kind of like ladybird dots on it. As I said, more radish that I'm excited to grow, colorful radish varieties. Oh, and this one, almost forgot about this one. So I have Foxglove F1 hybrid Dalmatian peach. So these are the hybrid foxgloves that you can sow this spring, and they are gonna, you sow them indoors early in the year, and they are gonna bloom the same year, because you know, usually foxgloves, we treat them as biennials, so we sow them sometime June, July, then they grow, they become seedlings, and you overwinter them and they bloom the next year. So with this F1 hybrids, Dalmatian peach, but there are also Dalmatian pink and Dalmatian something. There are different Dalmatians. They bloom the first year already, and then they can bloom again in the second year. I bought it last year, and I wanted to give it a try this spring. So that's pretty much it. I have some celery, some pak choi, and stuff like that that I'm probably not going to be growing this year because I don't have enough space. But yeah, I don't keep a lot of seeds, as I said, because in all cases they lose viability pretty quickly, so it's not worth. Okay, you guys, so this is it for this seed haul. These are all of the seeds I'm gonna be growing on my balcony this year. I hope you found some interesting ideas, maybe some new ideas on what you can grow on your part shade or shade balcony. I'm surely gonna be sharing with you how I'm sowing all of these seeds, sharing maybe some tips on how to have a successful germination. So hopefully you enjoyed it, hopefully you found some ideas. Thanks so much for joining me, and we will see each other again in the next video. Bye!